Done with that.
I'm
effort,
already
we can
half
move on to
hunger. What is
the
up
other
with this
points.
game?
I think
Yeah, I know.
I almost died. I was on my last bar just now when I looked at my
just so that
wrist.
everybody here can get that voice, because there is a very tiny % chance that one of our recordings and/or streams might be viewed by the dev team. So, with a show of hands, who here currently believes that the hunger system in this game is absolute BS?
It takes 30 to 45 minutes for everything to
That would just for anybody who's watching the stream. That is everybody here.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it is not.
Raise your hand.
Everyone except Mock.
What's wrong with the hunger system? No, what is wrong with it? Okay,
It drains so fast. You have to eat like 10 chicken.
I'm sitting here running out of food so fast. I just went through like 5 drums.
Part of the issue is I don't know what part of the world the dev team is from, but normal human beings don't need to consume 30 dodos a day to survive. Well, this begins the 6th town council meeting for the U.S. server here. All of the efforts we've been doing throughout most of the town have all been going very well. All of the endeavors that we have set out to accomplish, we have either accomplished or surpassed. We are, however, still running into shortages of things like copper, but it's nothing that we can't overcome. So on top of that, just to go straight into one of them that I was very excited about, I'm not sure if anybody else has heard, but the council itself has been contacted by the Vatican from the Australian server. Because we're just starting out, guys, everything is pretty much up for change as it's going. We're still very much so working out how a lot of the things are going to function and work, such as command structures and other things like that.
We've been working on a constitution which will govern all the various things that we've put into motion that have largely just been either word of mouth or if you know them, you know them, or just common sense, putting them into an actual document that outlines it and defines a specific structure that we can have, as well as guidelines for the council itself.
Everybody here, it is required that you read through that document. You read through it. You understand it. Because next week we'll be holding a vote to ratify that document. And if you are not competent enough to actually make a choice as to whether or not it should be ratified, don't bother showing up.
The basic structure that we will have is at the top, you'll have the executive branch, and then you'll have the general council, the town council. Then you'll have all of the citizens, which will no longer have a vote at meetings, but they will always be welcome to come to meetings, and they will be encouraged to make their opinion known and to have input at any point in time. In the executive branch, there will be the mayor, Sir Lucian, who will be a voted, an elected position officially going forward. And there will be structure for elections. These elections will be held every 4 months. Of course, if he is unchallenged, then we can forego some of the formalities. But we will have the elections should anyone wish to be mayor. Secondly, there will be the treasurer, myself in this case, who will be elected by the council directly. And then we will also have the PR manager is currently not written into the document in any way. That is more of a executive branch liberty, where we have denoted that via motion. It's not ratified directly in the Constitution. So each profession group will have a group of citizens who will be, for example, blacksmiths or carpenters or whatever. All of those in that particular group will be voting every 2 months, I believe the document says, if I remember correctly, on the head of their department. And of course, they can vote to sustain the current head, or someone can be elected if they want to, and so forth. The council, the members of the council, as well as the actual members of the profession, will all have a vote in this. So it's not just the profession by itself. This will be for all of the various professions that we are putting forward. The document outlines quite a few professions, some of which we will not actually be using going out immediately, right? We do not have to fill every profession. The way that meetings will be conducted going forward after the ratification of the document would be a little bit more strict. All decisions which people want to have made would be motioned and seconded. So someone would say, I would like to motion that we increase the price we buy wood for to 30 gold, for example. And there will be no further discussion of that until someone seconds that motion. If someone does second that motion, then it will return to the original motioner, who will describe why. They'll say, oh, I think we need to because nobody's buying it, or we're not selling enough, or we're selling too much, or whatever their opinion is of why they want that outcome. And then it will go to general discussion, where anyone can have questions or make a statement who is a council member. And then we will open it up to any citizens who have come to the meeting if they have input on that matter.
So our citizens,
Does that make sense?
So
Citizens
like our
are basically
citizens,
anyone else.
right? Are they able to like notion stuff? Or is that only the?
They can propose motions, and there will be a feature at some point implemented in the Discord to make it easier. But essentially, they'll be able to notify the council that they would like us to look into an issue, or that they would like us to bring up a particular motion, and then either someone from the council will do that themselves, or it will be put into the general pool, of which either the mayor or the treasurer would likely bring that to motion directly ourselves. The document does outline that. Essentially, anyone who wishes to be in a profession would be interviewed by the head of the particular profession, or the council in the profession's absence, and then they would be either appointed or not by the head or by the council. All of the heads are subject to council oversight. The council can veto any head should they desire so. They would need to do it at a 2/3 vote, but the council can veto any head being appointed. Guilds and professions are going to be considered separate entities in the document. So we will internally, via what is controlled by the council, or in other words, what is part of the town council, will be the professions that we have. And so that will be, for example, a council blacksmith or a council carpenter or whatever, right? That would be a specific subset, and they would be when they opt to become a council blacksmith, they would be agreeing to certain stipulations and benefits from those stipulations. However, they're going to have less than what the head is agreeing to. The head would be agreeing to a higher level of responsibility, and they would be held to a higher level than the various people who are in the particular profession. As far as the guilds are concerned, those are a separate entity which are controlled and governed by themselves. So they control themselves. They may have membership in the council in a couple ways. One, they have the guaranteed seat if they are an officially recognized guild, which I will go into detail about later. Or they may also have members in the guild. For example, I know the Archery Guild has several members of the council currently, and so it's very possible that they may have people who are on the council in a non-guild official capacity, if that makes sense. Essentially, they will be on the council, but they will not be representing the Archery Guild in of the scope of the council seat. The council seat would be held by one specific person who is elected via any means that that particular guild sees fit. So if that guild wants to do duels to the death, sure. If they want to have a pure vote between the entire populace of their guild, okay. Whatever it is that is their guild's way of deciding who should be filling that seat, they can do that. The council cannot go and say, Archery Guild, you have to implement this policy inside of your guild. We cannot do that. It is not supported. It is specifically written into the Constitution that the council cannot take that level of control over a guild. However, the town council will have that level of control over the various professions that are within the council profession group. So if you're a council blacksmith, you are bound by what the council decides, unless, of course, you opt out of being a council blacksmith, because you can leave at any point in time if you don't like it, right? This is completely optional. It's completely up to you. It's a game. It should be fun. Becoming a officially recognized guild is pretty simple and straightforward. You have to have a clearly defined structure. You have to be well established. And then you have to be nominated either by yourself or by a council member. And then the council will automatically have a motion brought into an open session. The timing of that vote is subject to the agenda. All that is guaranteed is that motion gets on the agenda and that it is brought up and it is automatically seconded by itself, essentially.
Another important announcement today is that I would like to officially announce that the Tree Ninja problem is about to be solved. We have received actionable intelligence about their locations, who they are, what they look like, and how they operate. And to this end, by my own hands, we have formulated the beginnings of the Town Mercenary Guild. We will begin putting together an armed force that will sweep through our towns and through our streets, and we will begin to root out the evil tree ninjas and show them the error of their ways in our community. But I add more to this, my friends. On top of this, Bubba, I am nominating currently to be the head of the Mercenary Guild. With his leadership, we shall sweep through this land and purge this desperate evil. And on top of that, we will begin to need to take anybody else who wants to actually probably run for that same position. But at this point, we need to understand that the Mercenaries Guild is basically going to be the town militia and or town army, as well as actual mercenaries taking people into the mines and things like that.
So there's a motion on the floor to elect as interim head of the militia, or of the mercenaries, Bubba here. I will second that, bringing it to the floor with Lucian.
And there we are. So, as I have spoken with Bubba in private and some of the other conversations that we have had here, he has outlined to me a 5-point tactical plan. And this 5-point tactical plan is brilliant. I can assure you that with his leadership and with my guidance and with the efforts of this council working together, we will root out the evil that plights our town. No longer will our bridges be destroyed. No longer will our burnt meat be poisoned. No longer shall these things happen. And make him the elected official.
And
Bubba has to give a name to the king of the tree ninjas. Otherwise, he's not qualified.
Easy.
Notice how Gasher's missing.
He disappeared.
You don't notice that? Come on.
There's 2 meetings now where, on the speaking of Tree Ninjas, Gasher has disappeared.
Actually, he just crashed this time.
Sure. That is what he wants you to
That's
believe.
what he wants you to think.
Also, there's a
At any rate,
before I've been, until contacted by Lucian and Ephraim, I was leader of the police guild, formerly the Order of the Ravens, for about 4 months. All I did was track player killers, and Obviously, the unofficial, well, now they were tree ninjas, but back then they were just players that we did.
What are your combat skills that you have specifically?
There you go, there's sneak.
Triple hit, critical
There you go,
strike,
continue.
raise hand, critical. I can't do them because the lag. Raise hand, critical strike, slide swipe, and then once this meeting's over, I'm going into the maze to get the earthquake ability.
There you are.
Nice.
I'd say that's more than adequate.
Job.
Yeah.
Although
As
technically
outlined
he
in the
is
Constitution that
the
you haven't
head
seen.
of the mercenary guild, therefore he'll more than likely delegate those duties to his subordinates, though he may himself also do them.
Right, but I want
And that's up to the miners. If the miner approaches the mercenaries and say, hey, I want you to take me down into the mines, protect me while I mine, then that's the mercenary's job. However, if the miner says, oh, I also want you to mine and protect me, then that's up to the miner to make that deal with the mercenary. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna
That
be
is not a council deal at that
Yeah, that's
point.
a per-trip determination.
Of nominating Bubba as interim head mercenary, please raise your hand. If you cannot raise your hand, then make a simple comment that you are voting and your name.
I think my hand's up.
Everybody, yeah, that's everybody.
I think everybody stands up.
Except
Dasher is
hand.
abstaining due to crashing.
Yep, Dasher's
So
saying-
yes, I believe that is unanimous. We will consider it unanimous because Gasher, the Constitution specifically enshrines that the council may not make any rulings that govern a guild itself directly.
The main 2 points of what we have talked about here today. Number one, this Constitution document will be posted in the Discord. Anybody that does not have access to the Discord yet who is standing here, which I believe all of you do, except for maybe Zana, because I don't recognize her name. Everybody else probably has access to it. Anybody that doesn't, just talk with somebody and we'll get you access to it. Everybody, that will be required reading. We will not accept voting to ratify that unless you are, able to read the damn thing. So on top of that, that is important. So between now and our next council meeting, it will be required for you to read this document. Second most valuable and important point for tonight's meeting was understanding that the era of the Tree Ninja is coming to an end. This threat will be sought out, and it will be purged from our society. All right. I thank everybody again for coming here. I thank everybody for the efforts that you've been putting forth in the community, and I believe that wraps everything up here. So,
And if anyone needs to get the link, again, who is new or just does not have the link for some reason, you can message either myself, Sir Lucient, or Jackie. We can be found in the primary channel and quite a few of the guild as well.
yes, and I am always open for conversation, ladies and gentlemen, so just message me away.
Okay.
Oh, that's one more thing.
With gathering materials.
We need wood. If you have wood, bring.
Okay.
Otherwise, just, yeah, guys, as always, when we first started getting people together to do this, I did not quite expect it to grow to the extent that it currently has. And I would just, from the bottom of my heart, I really truly appreciate everybody getting involved, being together, being cooperative, being friendly and polite, to work together in our community to create a better environment for everybody involved.